Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and it's been almost a week since the series finale of Game of Thrones, and it's been a whirlwind week if you do any bit of online coverage, or if you are just a fan of the show and you are like, the finale, or you were like, the finale. It's kind of like you either like it or you don't like it. It feels like when it comes to Game of Thrones, there quite literally is nothing in between. It's simply you either love it or you hate it. And if you dabble in this YouTube space, it seems like most people tend to not like it here, which could then influence other people to believe that, quite frankly, that no one liked it anywhere. Well, the truth is, the question ultimately does become, is Game of Thrones, or was Game of Thrones finale the most hated ever? And I'm just using this headline as an example because we saw quite a bit of this over the span of the last week, even going over into Rotten Tomatoes. We can see that season 8 as a whole had a 58% total from critics and a 35% total from audience members. Now, with Rotten Tomatoes' new system of verification in regards to reviews impacting the audience score, who knows if we're ever going to see anything like this ever again in regards to TV. But a lot of people weren't happy with it, and they were vocal online, especially when you look here at the series finale itself with a 49%. Saying here that if nothing else, the Iron Throne is a bittersweet, if unfortunately bland, series finale that ensures Game of Thrones fans will linger on the fate of their favorite characters for some time. Will they ever be satisfied by the show's conclusion? Ask us again in 10 years. And that's, again, a very, very interesting way to look at it, because it's true. A lot of people out there were, I think, hoping for more. I liked it. I watched it a couple times. I felt they ended it decently. Not enough, not every one of my wish fulfillment moments were hit. In fact, probably none of my wish fulfillment moments were hit, but from what they presented is very in line with the rest of the series. And I feel that they gave us an ending that is okay. So that's just kind of what I think. But what about when we start really breaking it down and people go out there and start polling people? Well, according to this Hollywood Reporter poll here, the most Game of Thrones viewers actually liked the ending despite the online outrage. Now, the reason why this is an interesting subject to cover is because I was watching Midnight's Edge's kind of video about the future of DB Weiss and David Benioff and going into Star Wars, and if that's going to hurt more Game of Thrones shows on HBO. And he had made a comment, this would be Andre, made a comment about how no one liked the finale. But the poll here, and this is from the Hollywood Reporter, suggests absolutely otherwise. According to this, it says, in the wake of Game of Thrones finale on Sunday, the narrative surrounding the night was the phrase divisive. But how did the series ending episode actually play with most viewers? Opinions were mixed, a new study finds. Some 26% of viewers who watched the final episode replied that they liked the finale a lot, while 37% liked it some, 24% didn't really like it, and 10% didn't like it at all, according to a new Hollywood Reporter Morning Consult poll. The survey was comprised of 2,200 adults of different ages, genders, and ethnicities whom exhibited varying degrees of fandom and TV viewing habits. Now, granted, that is a small sample size of only 2,200 people, but these people do this kind of studies and surveys quite often. And again, I think coming outside of just the online sphere, you might start to find that 37% of liked it a bit is probably more in line with where things are across the board if we were to kind of put it all together in a pot, mix it around, and then see what comes out. But then the question becomes whether or not the backlash to the show, to the finale, will have any problem or any impact on the future of whether or not these people go and watch a Dan and Dave Star Wars movie. Well, according to this, they also asked them that if they would continue to watch the work of David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, and responders were asked, does the involvement of the creators of HBO series Game of Thrones make you more or less likely to see upcoming Star Wars movies installment, or does it make no difference at all? 9% said that they were more likely, and 7% said that they were less likely, meaning that in this poll, people tended to like the work of Dan and Dave more so than not by at least 2%. However, 69% of the responders answers that the finale makes no difference to them for the duo's Star Wars future, indicating that the writers will move forward being judged on their current projects rather than their past work, which I do believe ultimately is the best course of action. When you want to look at Game of Thrones in the future of Dan and Dave and what they're doing, I would say take it on a project-to-project basis. It's something we should do. We don't always do, but I do feel that is the best and correct course of action. So here you have it. New studies, new surveys. Majority of people enjoyed the finale for what it was, or at least liked it some, more so than didn't like it at all or outright hated it. It just goes to show you that fan backlash doesn't necessarily mean that it's all that it does speak for everybody. In some cases, I would say, yeah, there's definite situations where the fan outrage does have an impact, and that obviously is clear with, let's say, The Last Jedi or Ghostbusters. Obviously it had no impact on Captain Marvel. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis. So there are those kind of things to take into account here. Now, listen, if you didn't like Game of Thrones series finale, that's entirely fine. I did, you don't. We can discuss it at a different day or not discuss it at all, but everyone is entitled to their own opinions. What I find to be fascinating about this is ultimately that a lot of people out there are trying to run on the hyperbole that everyone loved it, or no one's saying everyone loved it, but that everyone hated it, when we can see here that that's simply not the case. And so it is just kind of a case study for how to respond to these things down the road, to how to look at these types of reactions down the road, and to see that maybe not everyone feels the same way. But my point on this one is there a potential way to come to a middle ground perspective and have a conversation about what was good, what was bad, without it turning into a tribalistic situation? And I feel that in the case of the internet, that's kind of woefully impossible. But that's, again, my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out. Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. But if you really want to help the channel, be sure to check out patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. There's $3 Theater perks. Lots going to be going on with that, as well as the Facebook group, which is going to be only growing as time goes on. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.